The man just got paid, middle linebacker. To me, it's got to be between Fred Warner as the number one and the guy who he just beat out for average per year in the contract, Bobby Wagner. To me, those are the clear-cut, debatable 1 and 2 within the league. I know that people will like to drag in either linebacker from the Bucs. For me, it still is Bobby Wagner versus Fred Warner. And I think the main difference is the quarterback pressures for Bobby Wagner, right? Within the scheme of the defense, he is allowed to rush the quarterback more frequently than Fred Warner was. And I think that that's a reflection on Fred Warner's coverage abilities, right? Much like Jimmy Ward, those two defenders, because they're so good in coverage, they get fewer opportunities to make plays in other aspects of the game because the 49ers defense under Saleh was utilizing their skill sets to a maximum and putting them in coverage as much as possible. So I think that you're going to see that shift this year, and it will become clear. Again, the homer in me, the 49er fan, says that the transition has already taken place. Fred Warner is the top middle linebacker in the league, but I respect the opinion of others who may place it as the elder statesman in Bobby Wagner leading the way. What say you, Grant?
I want to fudge it a little bit here. Like, if we're talking 4-3 middle linebackers, which is a specific position, he's the best. Okay. I think he's better than Bobby Wagner, who's been the best at that position for a long time.
I like that.
But then if we're talking 3-4 inside linebackers, it's a little bit different. To me, when you're a middle linebacker in a 4-3, there's not as much premium on sideline to sideline speed.
Okay.
Because that's what you got Dre Greenlaw for. Yeah. That's what you got your outside linebackers for. They're the ones who get to the sideline. And you're more over the middle. You're more between the tackles. You're more coverage. That's great. He's great at that. But he's not the fastest line. He's not slow. He's not slow at all. But he's about linebacker speed. There are some, like, when I was a kid, Patrick Willis is a 3-4 inside linebacker. And the way he could get from in the box to the sideline, Warner can't do that. No offense to Warner. It's just that's what made Willis special. He ran a 4-4. He's crazy. I really feel like in the NFL right now, there's some guys I'd rather have in a 3-4 inside linebacker, like, Levante David, Devin White, Roquan Smith, those three in particular. But that's a scheme thing. We're talking, is he the best at his position? His position is 4-3 middle linebacker. The answer is yes. And if you have him, you wouldn't bring in Fred Warner to play a 3-4. You have him specifically for this, and he's the best at it. And what's interesting about him is that he played nickel in college. It was a vision that Robert Saleh, Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch, D'Amico Ryans had, and they were right. I don't even know if Fred Warner knew that he could do this, but perfect spot for him.
Perfect spot. Yeah. So you're saying number one, because we're looking at him specifically for what he's playing.
Middle linebacker. Not an inside linebacker. Because to me, those 3-4 inside linebackers have to be super freaking fast. They cover a lot of ground that you wouldn't have to cover if you have 3 instead of 2.
That's fair. I would have to see him operate within the scheme to say he couldn't do it, because I think he's a heady enough guy that takes good enough angles that I think he could do it
in a 3-4
a phenomenal level. But I think it's fair to say that
guys, Roquan Smith is fast. Devin White is fast.
Yeah,
fast.
That's fair.
So is Levante David. So I don't know.
Asked to do different things, but definitely studs. So I think what we've established within these 4, for me, we've established that yes, we have the 4 greatest at those positions. For you, you're a little more skeptical. You split it up a little bit, but I think we are in.
I'm an asshole.
Yeah, well, that's true.
That's what I do. Yeah,
and you do it well, Grant. You do it real well.
Do the Niners have the best free safety in the league? Probably. Now that he came on my show, probably. I'd have to say so.
You got a new favorite. Yeah. I got to say, so I was in the airport when you did that interview, and I take a little Xanax before I fly, so I was feeling good at that time. But I was watching that interview. It was delightful, Grant.
Thank you.
Delightful. I mean, I'm a Jimmy Ward fan. I know that on your channel there are a couple of guys that have talked him up and appropriately emphasized the things that Jimmy does that he doesn't get the appreciation for. I think this could be the season that people start to recognize some of that greatness.
Agree. Absolutely.
Just throwing it out there. So, but I think in our discussions, you at least conceded that even if they're not number one at their position, within those 4 individuals we covered, they are at least 1B or 2 at their position.
Yeah,
right?
we're splitting hairs among
2.
people in the top tier of their position. They definitely have 4 guys in the top tier of their position, at least 4.
Which is crazy when you look at talent. That is 18% of the starters on offense and defense that are either 1 or 2 in the league.
Like 1 in 6, right? 1 in 6.
So, I mean,
almost
it gives you some optimism around how good this team is, how great it can be. Again, if healthy, though.
Yeah, they need 17 games from Kittle. They need 17 games from Trent. They need 17 games from Juszczyk. They're going to get 17 games from Warner.